patrol. She's tired. He can tell. It's not like she's yawning, it's just that there's a look in her eyes that he doesn't see unless she's overly stressed. He wants her to talk to him and tell him what's wrong, but it's Ladybug. She doesn't ever let him know when she's struggling. For the past 20 minutes, they've been walking in silence. He glances at her, surreptitiously. Ladybug looks lost in thought. So much so, she nearly trips over the sidewalk. She yelps and reaches her hands out to catch herself. But before she can even come close to hitting the ground, he grabs her by the waist and holds her upright. "Are you okay?" he asks her with worry clearly written in his eyes. She's never been this spacey. What happened? "Yeah," Ladybug says, slightly embarrassed. She pushes herself away from him and brushes herself off. With a deep breath, her usually straight and perfect posture drops. "I'm a little tired, sorry," she mutters. Shot shakes his head. "It's okay," he tells her. "Can I ask why?" He wants her to talk to him, or at least know that she can talk to him. Being Ladybug is a job that he knows is hard to maintain and do, not to mention her real life, which she also needs to worry about. You can't imagine how busy she must be on a day-to-day basis. Ladybug sighs and sends him an exhausted smile. He doesn't like it. He'd much rather see the teasing smirk she gives him when he tries and fails to flirt with her. This smile is burnt out and overwork. Makes him frown and kind of want to tell her to go home and sleep, because it looks like she really needs to. Alas, even if he demanded such of her, she probably wouldn't go home, even though it's literally 12 a.m. "Sure," Ladybug says quietly. They keep walking, but it's slow. His eyes are still darting around, patrolling and checking all of the dark spots so that she can just take a minute to herself. Indeed, her head is down and she's breathing deeply and slowly. You know how school goes?" She gives a sharp and bitter laugh. "There's just so much work to do, and there's so many people to deal with. It's a lot, and honestly, I'm tired of it," she cries out. Shaniartist stays quiet. He allows her to talk or rant for however long she needs to. "There's this one person at my school, and they just came back from a really long vacation or whatever. Everyone absolutely adores them, and I always had this really weird and off feeling about them. And then I found out that they were actually a really terrible person. They lie and deceive everyone all the time for practically no reason at all. And everyone keeps blaming me when something goes wrong. It's like they can't even see the person doing all these awful things right in front of them. Are they suddenly blind? Are they just turning around?" she shouts out. "I tried to be nice. I tried to stay calm, but I just couldn't. And that made everyone mad at me. So now I have to deal with that." She gives him a moment to breathe. There's relief in her eyes. It's clear to him that she's been holding all these feelings inside of her for a very long time. "If it helps, I think it's crazy they wouldn't believe you," he says. Ladybug laughs, bitterly though. "Unfortunately, I don't have the same credibility as my normal self as I do Ladybug. I guess all those years of knowing my friends meant nothing." She kicks a stone into the building wall beside them. "But thank you. Kinda does help." Shot smiles at her kindly. "I bet they just want to believe her so badly. They do. They must want the lies to be true, so they ignore logic. That's certainly not on you," he tells her. Ladybug looks at him and she looks a lot less upset. "Thanks," she says and looks away. "That's a pretty good point. Things that are too good to be true is a kind of hard concept for people to wrap their heads around, she says, nearly laughing. He's proud of himself. He's proud of her, making her feel better. Ladybug is the best person in Paris, and he will openly admit that to anyone that listens. She saves the day, every day, and practically gets nothing in return. Nothing substantial, that is everything she gets borders on performative. He knows that when she's at her breaking point, like today, and somehow powers through her civilian life. He knows there's no one that even offered to listen to her problems today. He also knows that there's no one else she can talk about these problems to, because they can't know her identity. Shot hopes he can be a blissful solace for her for whenever she needs it, even if he isn't allowed to know her real name. Hey, Ladybug, Shaniartist says, an idea popping into his head. She raises a curious brow at him. Yeah? He leaps up onto one of the lampposts. Its yellow glow must really wash out his hair. Swinging on it the way he spins around on his baton, he pretends to sing as a means to entertain her. I'm singing in the rain, I'm singing in the rain, he belts out in an awful voice. It's true that he's no singer, no matter how hard his father tried to make him be as a kid. But he knows some songs, and hopefully it'll be enough to put a bright look on Ladybug's face. She needs a laugh today, and he's determined to supply it. I'm laughing again. Happily, his goal is reached in less than a minute. Ladybug spent about 3 seconds in utter shock and confusion, and then bursts out laughing. She stumbled over, almost howling. Shot grins. He's happy to hear her joy, even if it means sorta embarrassing himself while he's at it. His foot nearly slips from the lamppost. Ladybug cackles, and then he regains his footing and smiles at her shyly. Oh my goodness, she laughs, stepping towards him. He's hanging off of the post using one hand and one foot. You're so silly, she says. Her smile is bright, and that is all he could ever ask for from her. Made you smile, Shot says mischievously. He brings out his free hand, reaching out like Aladdin did in that movie of the same name. His eyes narrow as they look down at her, and he speaks softly. Come dance with me. He leaps off of the post and is back on the ground, twirling around in so many little circles around Ladybug. She's watching him with an amused look on her face. His eyes look brighter in the dark night sky, and they look almost like the stars above. The yellow light from the lamppost is fighting against the almost blue tone of the moonlight. Shadows dance across her face as she turns to keep her gaze on him, and as he dances around. She's yet to join him, try though as he may. I can't dance, but neither can you, she jokes, shaking her head slightly. What? Shot cries out. Look at me. I'm a real dancer. He promptly trips over his own feet. Ladybug wipes tears from her eyes from laughing so hard. I don't think so, she says. Shot points at her from the ground, though it's not very threatening. One day, you will dance with me. His tone is sure, but her expression is more smug. I wouldn't be so sure about that, she says in a sing-song tone. And yeah, odds are he will never get her to dance with him. But that's okay, because she's just with him right now, and that's enough for him. Ladybug's laughing and enjoying his company, Shot Noir. And Shot Noir is content with that.